shocker from Uttar Pradesh's Kushinagar. Mob allegedly lynches a Muslim BJP worker for celebrating Yogi Adityanath's win and for chanting Jai Shri Ram. CM Yogi now orders a probe. Pramod Sawant takes oath as Goa Chief Minister for the second time. Prime Minister Narendra Modi along with top dignitaries attend this swearing-in ceremony. Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan blames foreign powers for destabilizing his government. Opposition to hold a counter-rally on inflation. National Assembly session today as the trust vote looms. High drama witnessed at the 94th Academy Awards. Will Smith throws a punch at Chris Rock for a joke on his wife, wins the Best Actor award for King Richard.
Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the out of me.
Now, 5 BJP MLAs were suspended after a scuffle broke out between TMC and the BJP MLAs in West Bengal Assembly. BJP now claims that MLAs were assaulted by TMC. TMC MLAs were they assaulted many of those BJP legislators. That's the allegation that's been made, and all this happened only because BJP leaders demanded for a discussion on Birbhum massacre on the floor of the House. BJP MLA Manoj Tiga was allegedly manhandled during the incident. A video that was tweeted by BJP now shows an MLA accusing other MLAs of pushing him and tearing down his shirt. TMC MLA Asit Majumdar was quick to counter these claims, saying that he sustained injuries during the ruckus. He says that Suvendu Adhikari punched him in the face. 5 BJP MLAs have now been suspended, including Suvendu Adhikari, Manoj Tiga, Narara Hari Mahato, Shankar Ghosh, Deepak Bharman were suspended for their alleged involvement in a scuffle inside the Bengal Assembly. And following this ruckus, BJP MPs from West Bengal now are holding protests right outside the Assembly at the Gandhi statue in the Parliament against the attack on party's MLAs inside the Bengal Assembly. This ruckus erupted in the Bengal Assembly on the last day of the budget session. Unfortunately, instead of a constructive debate or discussion, this was reduced to a fist fight.
बाहर का जो माहौल है, गांव का जो माहौल है, जो गुंडागर्दी रामपुर हाट में भादू शेख अनारुल हुसैन ने कर रहा था, ठीक अंदर में भी एक ही हालत बना दिया ये तृणमूल पार्टी, पुलिस और आपने गुंडा एमएलए लेकर। इसका खिलाफ हम लोग का आज 2 बजे पार्टी का मार्च है। मार्च में सब एमएलए पार्टिसिपेट करेगा। ये मुद्दे के ऊपर हम जनता के बीच भी जाऊंगा। स्पीकर के पास भी हम लोग का जो एलिगेशन है, एज ए लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन I will send my written complaint to the speaker। जो आपका आंख का सामने ये सब हुआ, ये नहीं होना चाहिए। जो लोग किया है उसका खिलाफ हाउस का जो रूल है, रूल के अंदर कार्रवाई होना चाहिए।
সিকিউরিটিদের মারছিল, তাদের ঠেকাতে গিয়েছিলাম। শুভেন্দু অধিকারী নিজে আমাকে ঘুষি মেরেছে। আচ্ছা, শুভেন্দু অধিকারী নিজে ঘুষি মেরেছে। আমাদের সিকিউরিটিদের মারছিল, আমি হাত জোর করে বারণ করতে গেছি। শুভেন্দু নিজে ঘুষি মারলো, আমার চশমা ভেঙে দিয়েছে। দেখুন, এই দেখুন চশমা ভেঙে দিয়েছে।
देखिए, पश्चिम बंगाल के विधानसभा में आज जो घटना घटी वो डेमोक्रेसी को शर्मसार कर देने वाली घटना है। पश्चिम बंगाल के विधानसभा के अंदर जहाँ पे हाउस बैठता है उसके अंदर इस तरीके का घटना हम लोगों ने कभी पहले नहीं देखा। जिस तरीके से बीजेपी विधायकों के ऊपर फिजिकली असॉल्ट किया गया, उन लोगों को, महिलाओं को भी नहीं छोड़ा गया, तो इस तरीके की घटना प्रमाण करता है कि पश्चिम बंगाल में लॉ एंड ऑर्डर बोलिए, डेमोक्रेसी बोलिए, कुछ भी नहीं है।
मुख्यमंत्री का हम लोग यहाँ पर विवृत्ति चाह रहे थे। जो घटना घटा रामपुर हाट में, हम लोग स्पीकर को बोल रहे थे, लेकिन टीएमसी के कुछ गुंडा विधायक आकर के सब मेरा शर्ट ये सब छीट दिया। यहाँ पर हमको धक्का मारा, घूसी मारा, ये सब देखिए मेरा ये सब हम लोग का गणतांत्रिक पद्धति से हम लोग अंदर में बोल रहे थे कि मुख्यमंत्री का विवृत्ति चाहिए, लेकिन हठात टीएमसी का कुछ विधायक आकर के मुझे कान करके ये सब हमारा सब साथ छीट दिया, घुसी मारा।
This is the intolerant mindset of the Trinamool Congress and the West Bengal government. Whether it is the entire state of West Bengal or whether it is the West Bengal Assembly, there has been a complete politicization of institutions and a complete institutionalization of political violence under Mamata Banerjee.
All right, let's cut across to our reporter on ground, Indrajit Kundu, joining us live from Kolkata. Indrajit, such ugly, embarrassing scenes of elected representatives coming down to blows inside the Bengal Assembly. And the reason was that they wanted to discuss Birbhum massacre. What happened after that? We know that 5 of the BJP MLAs have been suspended. What does the BJP now plan to do?
Well, Lamina, it was the last day of the Bengal budget session in the Assembly. And as expected, there was ruckus because it has been going on for the past several days. In fact, the opposition BJP and its MLAs have been walking out of the Assembly over various issues, most prominently, of course, the Birbhum massacre, the Rampurhat case. And it was no different today. What the BJP wanted was a discussion on the floor of the House. They have been demanding that the Chief Minister come and speak on the floor of the House over this entire incident, and they did the same today. But while they were demanding, they came out on the well, protesting and demanding that there should be a discussion. There was a ruckus and a scuffle that broke out between Trinamool Congress and BJP MLAs, and several people got injured. We've seen visuals of how Trinamool Congress MLA Ashit Majumdar, his nose got injured and he was rushed to the hospital. The BJP claims that its chief whip, Manoj Tigga, he was also assaulted by Trinamool Congress Trinamool Congress MLAs. We've heard the speaker now. He has suspended 5 BJP MLAs, including leader of opposition Shubhendu Adhikari. The speaker spoke to us and he said that there hasn't been any official communication from the opposition parties right now, that is the BJP, over any assaults or any injury from their side. But he claimed 15 to 16 people have been injured, and there are some, assembly staff also who have been injured. The BJP, of course, not willing to relent. And at 2 o'clock this afternoon, just short while from now, the BJP is going to take out a protest march. It was a pre-scheduled protest march on the Rampurhat incident, where all BJP MLAs, including Shubhendu Adhikari, along with BJP State President Dr. Shrikant Majumdar, will be taking to the street here in Kolkata in protest against what has happened in Rampurhat and, of course, what has unfolded in the Assembly this morning.
Indrajit, thank you very much. This is, of course, very embarrassing in West Bengal Assembly, inside the Assembly. While during the session, you see MLAs there from both ends of TMC and BJP entering a fist fight, absolute scuffle that's taken place. And we hear the BJP now accusing West Bengal government of absolute lawlessness. Let's hear it from Dilip Ghosh, who spoke on this.
बंगाल में जो घटना घट रही है, कानून व्यवस्था टूट चुकी है और विपक्ष का जिम्मेदारी ये बात को उठाना, चाहे सदन के अंदर हो चाहे बाहर। अगर चर्चा के लिए अगर डिमांड करते हैं स्पीकर के सामने कि विधानसभा चल रहा है, वहाँ चर्चा हो इसका ऊपर, इसलिए उनके ऊपर अटैक किया जाए, उनको शारीरिक रूप से मारपीट किया जाए, घायल किया जाए। मैं तो गोवा में हूँ, शपथ ग्रहण में था, अभी खबर आया कि भयंकर हालत हमारे LOP जो अपोजिशन लीडर है, हमारे चीफ व्हिप है, इन सारे लोगों को मारा गया और हमको मारपीट किया, हमारे 5 लोगों को सस्पेंड भी किया गया। तो सरकार लोकतांत्रिक व्यवस्था को खत्म करके जबरदस्ती सरकार चलानी चाहती है वहाँ, उसका अगर हम विरोध करते हैं विपक्ष के नाते, हमारे ऊपर शारीरिक आक्रमण किया जाएगा, ये कौन सा लोकतंत्र है? विधानसभा के अंदर भी नहीं है लोकतंत्र, बाहर भी नहीं है। तो ये सरकार एकदम विफल हो चुकी है, कानून व्यवस्था संभाल नहीं पा रही है और विपक्ष का मुंह बंद करने के लिए शारीरिक निग्रह कर रहा है पूरा।
Here's big news coming in from West Bengal. Bengal governor now all set to meet Home Minister Amit Shah in Delhi. In fact, he meets with Home Minister Amit Shah. Remember, we're seeing much discussion and debate over Bengal's Birbhum violence that killed 8 people. And we see that the discussion in the Assembly really reached a dead end after TMC MLAs along with BJP MLAs entered a scuffle. There was almost a fist fight inside the Assembly with now 5 BJP MLAs who have been suspended for ruckus and violence inside the House of the Assembly. While that said, you have West Bengal Governor Jagdeep Dhankar, who's now met with Amit Shah. He's met with Home Minister Amit Shah. Discussions on the Birbhum bloodbath that killed 8 people in that massacre. While we see that on one hand, the Assembly session ran into absolute violence with both ends, TMC and BJP, blowing punches at each other. Here, on the other hand, you have the Governor Jagdeep Dhankar meeting with Home Minister Amit Shah on quick action and fast-track investigation into Birbhum violence. Here, India Today Impact, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has now directed the police to take strict action against those involved in lynching of a Muslim BJP supporter, 25-year-old Babar. Chief Minister Yogi, while expressing grief, has said that culprits will be punished. Yogi has said that the government would provide all possible help to bereaved family. Police have arrested 2 accused and the hunt is currently on to nab 2 more. Family of Babar Ali have said that he had celebrated BJP's win in UP Assembly elections by distributing sweets and chanting Jai Shri Ram. He had earlier received threats from neighbours for actively campaigning for the BJP during assembly polls. And on 20th of March, when Babar was returning from his shop, his neighbours assaulted him over his Jai Shri Ram chants. Babar was thrashed by a lynch mob, including women. Now, the attackers then threw Babar off a rooftop where he had taken refuge to save his life. Babar died after battling grievous injuries for days at a hospital. Yogi government now probing the matter.
सरकार दोषी है, जिम्मेदार है और पहले ही दिन विधानसभा के अगर कुशीनगर में हत्या हो रही है तो आगे कैसी घटनाएं होंगी, ये स्पष्ट है कि प्रदेश में लगातार अपराधों में बेतहाशा वृद्धि हो रही है और सरकार अपराधों को रोक पाने में पूर्ण रूप से असमर्थ साबित हो चुकी है.
All right, there you have it. Babar Ali has been assaulted by a bunch of his neighbours. In fact, unfortunately, this man who has been actively campaigning for the BJP was allegedly threatened by some of his neighbours because he was seen chanting Jai Shri Ram, distributing sweets after Yogi won as the chief minister for the second time. Now, very unfortunate as this man was brutally thrashed and lynched by a bunch of neighbours who were opposed to him supporting the BJP and Yogi Adityanath. This Muslim youth, 25-year-old Babar Ali, he's been actively campaigning for the BJP and extensively celebrated Yogi Adityanath's victory also by chanting Jai Shri Ram. Let me quickly cut across to Abhishek Mishra, who's been tracking the story. Abhishek, give us a sense of who are those who have attacked this Muslim youth and how far has the investigation reached?
Well, 2 of the accused have been arrested and a total 4 persons we are getting to know that are involved in this particular incident which happened in Kushinagar. Although politically this whole incident has been taken very seriously by all the leaders. We have spoken to a couple of them and they have been saying that the government should take strict action, although Yogi Adityanath has already given the instruction to take quick action on this. And also the other opposition leaders, be it the BSP, Congress Party and the Samajwadi Party, everyone is raising questions over if there is a sense of law and order in Uttar Pradesh, then why such an incident is happening. So that is also taking a political angle because today is the day 1. All the newly inducted ministers and the MLAs has taken the oath in the Vidhan Sabha at the assembly. So, and on the day 1, such an incident coming up, emerging and raising questions over the law and order has again thrown a first challenge in front of the Yogi government. But the government has made it clear and Yogi Adityanath is very keen with a fact that how the instructions has already been given as far as the action in this particular case is concerned. Yes.
It's great that Yogi government has now quickly moved towards investigating the matter. Some of them have been arrested as well. But give us a sense on how involved this Muslim youth was in Yogi Adityanath's campaign. And we hear that he has been receiving threats for for chanting Jai Shri Ram and supporting the BJP extensively. Was this issue taken note of before he was brutally murdered?
Well, what we are getting to know that the police which has said that the matter is under the investigation and there is an angle which says that there has been a dispute with the neighbors and these extended relatives. So that has also been taken into consideration. But at the same time, the reason behind this incident is actually supporting the BJP and Babar himself. His family is saying that this is the primary reason that this incident had happened. So all the angles have been considered, but very importantly, what has happened is that the person has lost his life, have been struggling for every breath, and afterward now, since this whole case has taken the political angle, there is a lot of pressure on the government as well. But as far as this whole matter is concerned, the investigation is underway. But one thing is very clear, that just with the arrival of the new session and the oath of all these MLAs, Kushinagar has prominently, given a serious question to the government about the law and order, and the opposition, on the other hand, is also not leaving any opportunity to slam the government and making it clear that what has actually happened within their own supporters who have been beaten up brutally for giving their vote to the incumbent party. Yes.
Right, Abhishek, thank you very much. India Today has been the first to highlight this matter. Shocking intolerance that's been reported from UP's Kushinagar. A Muslim BJP supporter who campaigned for Yogi Adityanath has been allegedly lynched by his own neighbours who objected to his support for the BJP. The 25-year-old young man, Babar, was brutally assaulted by a mob, including neighbours who threw him off a rooftop for distributing sweets after the BJP's victory. Babar breathed his last after battling for life for days. Unfortunately, he's passed.
A heartbroken mother, a wailing wife.
हमारा भाई बहुत दौड़ा, अपने मौत के लिए भीख मांगा हो, एसपी कार्यालय में गया, उसके बाद से थाना रामकोला में गया,
and an emotional brother.
हर जगह FIR किया है, कोई सुनवाई नहीं हुआ है और ना ही कोई इसको बचाया है.
This is the shattering moment this Muslim family in Kushinagar's Katgadi village, whose son was brutally lynched for backing Yogi Adityanath in the recent Uttar Pradesh elections. The Muslim youth named Babar lost his life after being thrashed mercilessly by some local goons. Babar was brutally assaulted while chanting Jai Shri Ram and distributing sweets to celebrate the Bharatiya Janata Party forming the government in Uttar Pradesh. The mob, including women, battered Babar and threw him off a terrace.
कैसे इनकी मौत हो गई? पर्दा लो मार दिया लो वोट डाले खाते बीजेपी को, हाँ बीजेपी को डाले खाते भाजपा का कोई खाते मारा लो मावल लो भाजपा को वोट दे डाला बनी योगी बाबा के तो हमरा साथे गद्दारी कैले वालो आ साइकिल पर कहत रहल वोट देबे का साइकिल पोट नहीं की जाता तो वही खातिर चाय बजे दिन में हम निकल गए यहाँ ठट के टांगी से गड़ासी से ईटा से हथौड़ी से मारल.
Family members of Babar claim the same goons had threatened Babar earlier also, warning him against campaigning for the Bharatiya Janata Party.
तो मौका ढूंढ रहे थे कब मारे सर ये बस ये बीजेपी के प्रचार प्रसार में लगा हुआ था और इसके लिए ये लोग बहुत मतलब इन लोगों का पूरा मतलब गुस्सा सर पे चढ़ गया था कि अब मार देंगे तब मार देंगे.
Babar had sought security from the local police after the threats he received, but the local police failed to protect him.
परिजनों द्वारा FIR लिखा दिया गया है, सुसंगत धाराओं में FIR दर्ज हो गया है. अब इन लोगों द्वारा बताया गया कुछ और लोगों का नाम ये लोग देना चाहते हैं. विवेचना में वो नाम टेकअप किया जाएगा और न्याय व्यवस्था में विश्वास रखते हुए कड़ी से कड़ी सजा दी जाएगी.
Local Bharatiya Janata Party MLAs shouldered the body of Babar in his last rites and pledged justice for this family.
ढूंढवा के पकड़वाएंगे इन लोगों को. इन लोगों को समझ में आ गया कि इस तरह से कृत्य किए हैं, इनका नस्ल दोबारा करने की कोशिश नहीं करेगी. इसलिए बता रहे हैं जो भी इसमें संलिप्त कोई बचेगा थोड़ी, दोबारा कोई इस तरह की हरकत करने की कोशिश नहीं करेगा. ये हमारा वचन है.
मैं आदित्यनाथ योगी ईश्वर की शपथ लेता हूं कि
It has only been days since Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath began his historic second term. The shocking intolerance killing a Muslim BJP supporter comes as a big challenge. Bureau Report, India Today.
Meanwhile, the political showdown over Tipu Sultan is back in focus in Karnataka. A school textbook review panel that's set up by the Karnataka government has now recommended toning down of the glorified content on Tipu Sultan in school textbooks. A formal order has now been issued to ensure that Tipu Sultan is no longer hailed and glorified in textbooks. So The chapter on Tipu Sultan has now been retained, but without any glorification of the 18th century Mysore ruler. The move has now triggered political fight as Congress has certain objections to it. The BJP, meanwhile, has defended this move, saying falsehoods were being spread about Tipu's heroics in the name of history. But the Congress has accused BJP of trying to tweak history to suit their own narrative.
ಟಿಪ್ಪು ಸುಲ್ತಾನಿನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇದನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇವೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಸತ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ದೂರವಾದಂಥದ್ದು. ಪುಸ್ತಕಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದಷ್ಟನ್ನು ಯಾವ ಇತಿಹಾಸವನ್ನು ತರುವಂಥ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಿರೋದು ಯಾರೇನು ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಲ್ಲ, ಅದರ ನೆಗ್ಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು ಒಂದಷ್ಟು. ಆ ಥರದ್ದನ್ನು ಸಹಿತ ಈ ಸಲ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ.
They have never been a part of any historical struggle. They have never been a part of the independence struggle, and none of their icons also have been a part of it. So they're trying to retrofit their icons in our history books. So this is rewriting the history books is only to ensure that their icons get enough space. Who have not been a part of anything.
So why the government is getting into things like this? I think the whole idea, they should not get into school politics, right? Whatever communal harmony is there, we should not get into. First was the hijab controversy in schools, which was not required. Now they're talking about this Tipu. See, only thing is when they think that they're losing ground at the village level, because the rules and laws what they have is anti-farmer, anti-poor, because of the inflation what we are seeing, because of the farm laws what we are seeing. So they are losing ground in the villages. So they want to do polarization politics. That is the reason they are targeting minorities everywhere. That's the whole reason they're getting into things like this.
Now, the hijab controversy in Karnataka still rages on. It's been more than 10 days after the Karnataka High Court passed the verdict on this issue. A student in Karnataka's Hubli was sent back home, not allowed to write her 10th board examinations because she insisted on wearing the hijab inside the campus, refused to remove it despite requests from the administration. This comes after Karnataka Home Minister also made it quite clear that High Court order must be followed and any violation of the court's order will lead to prosecution there, beg your pardon. Meanwhile, All India Muslim Personal Law Board has moved the Supreme Court against Karnataka High Court verdict on hijab ban. In fact, Kerala-based clerical body Samasta Kerala Jamaatul Ulama has also moved a special leave petition against the Karnataka High Court's verdict. The organizations in their separate petitions have argued that covering one's head is an essential practice of Islam.
ಇವರಿಗೆ ಬೇರೆ ಏನು ಕೆಲಸ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅವರ ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ನವರಿಗೆ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ. SLC ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಶಾಂತವಾಗಿ ಪರೀಕ್ಷೆ ಬರೀತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈಗ ಮತೀಯ ಒಂದು ಹುಳವನ್ನು ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳ ತಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೊರಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನು ಖಂಡಿಸ್ತೇವೆ. ಏನೂ ತೊಂದರೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಪೋಷಕರು ಇಂಥ ರಾಜಕಾರಣವನ್ನು ಎಚ್ಚರಿಕೆಯಿಂದ ಗಮನಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಾನು ವಿನಂತಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ.
Yes, some big news coming in from Rajasthan. Rajasthan's Congress MLA Johari Lal Meena's son, along with his friends, have been booked for gang rape in Dausa, accused for rape, torturing and blackmailing the victim. BJP now guns for Priyanka Gandhi over Rajasthan's horror. BJP calls Priyanka's Ladki Hu Lad Sakti Hu campaign an absolute sham. Horrific incident of gang rape that's been reported from Rajasthan. And what's all the more tragic is that this is an elected representative of a Congress MLA, Johari Lal's son, who has been accused of gang rape along with his friends. He's been booked for gang rape in Dausa. This incident has been reported. In fact, allegations of rape, torture and blackmail under which he's been booked. The victim now, unfortunate case here where the Congress MLA itself, his son has been accused of gang rape and booked under various charges. Now BJP gunning for Priyanka Gandhi and calling her Ladki Hu Lad Sakti Hu campaign an absolute sham. BJP now accusing Congress government of lawlessness as a Congress MLA's son itself has been accused of gang rape. Let's take a listen, reactions pouring in.
दीपक सनोज जोरीलाल वर्तमान MLA का पुत्र है, एक समलेटी का है, नेत्राम जी समलेटी के हैं। इन तीनों ने समलेटी पैलेस होटल जो मेरे थाना क्षेत्र में पड़ती है उसमें कोई नशे में पदार्थ खिला करके सामूहिक गैंग रेप किया और उसके नग्न फ़ोटो वगैरह खींच लिए। उन दोबारा से उन्होंने उन नग्न फ़ोटो दिखा करके उसको ब्लैकमेल किया और घर में रखे 15,40,000 रुपये मंगवा लिए और जो घर में रखे जेवरात वगैरह वो भी मंगवा लिए और इसको ब्लैकमेल करते रहे, अगर तुमने किसी प्रकार की रिपोर्ट दर्ज कराई तो तुम्हारे घर वालों को जान से मार देंगे। इस प्रकरण का दर्ज होने के बाद में इसका अनुसंधान श्रीमान सीओ साहब व्रत महुआ द्वारा किया जा रहा है।
प्रदेश का और कांग्रेस सरकार का और इस देश का दुर्भाग्य है कि जो महिला लड़की हूँ लड़ सकती का नारा देती है वो खाली उत्तर प्रदेश में ही लड़कियों को लड़वाना चाहती है, लेकिन राजस्थान के अंदर क्योंकि कांग्रेस की सरकार है, अशोक गहलोत की सरकार है, लगातार महिलाओं पर बलात्कार की घटनाएं हो रही है। लेकिन प्रियंका गांधी राजस्थान में ना तो संज्ञान लेना चाहती है और ना यहाँ के मुख्यमंत्री कोई बात कहना चाहते हैं इसको लेकर, और लगातार बलात्कार की घटनाएं बढ़ रही है। विधायक पुत्र अभी तक भूमिगत है।
All right, coming up on the other side of a short break, high drama at the 94th Academy Awards. Will Smith throws a punch at Chris Rock for making a joke on his wife. For details on the other side, stay with us.
Crypto Watch brought to you by Big BNS.
When it's the world's biggest news story, there's only one gold standard of journalism. This is Ukraine's true danger zone. Up close and fearless in Ukraine's combat zone.
You are watching India Today.
On a daily basis, thousands of oil spills occur worldwide in the oceans, causing oil pollution. This oil pollution in the oceans can have a disastrous effect on marine life. Most people don't realize how serious the problem is until there's a major incident at sea, such as a tanker spill or an oil rig explosion. Oil slicks have the potential to kill seabirds and marine animals such as seals as they drift towards the coast. Although only 10% of global marine oil population is caused by spills of this nature, the majority is generated by everyday maritime traffic such as illegal dumping and tank cleaning, as well as onshore industrial activities. The environmental impact varies depending on location. Deep sea spills are typically smarter and easier to clean up. The oil sinks as it becomes denser, is broken down and destroyed by bacteria. Oil slicks on a rocky coast or exposed beach can have a significant impact on marine ecosystems, and they can take up to a year for wave action to clear away. This oil pollution is also extremely harmful to coral reefs. Coral regeneration can take up to 10 years and is often irreversible. And pollution in mangroves or on sandbanks can cause long-term damage that lasts more than 20 years. All right, here on this special, we're going to bring to you Hollywood's biggest night of the year, the Oscars. The Academy Awards announced winners at the infamous Dolly Theatre in Los Angeles. While the evening was all about honoring, celebrating the best from the world of cinema, what really made headlines today, in fact, this time of the Oscars, was actor Will Smith and comedian Chris Rock's altercation during the live Oscars 2022 telecast. The actor punched him after he made a tasteless joke at Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. Here's the complete story.
Being called on in my life to love people and to protect people and to be a river to my people.
Will Smith may have won the Best Actor award at the 2022 Oscars.
I'm out here. Richard.
But it is this action performance that he will be remembered for. The actor lost his cool at comedian Chris Rock during the ceremony as he went straight up on the stage and smacked him after Rock made a joke at Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith.
Wow.
The altercation did not stop there. Smith went back to his seat and yelled at Rock thereafter, telling him to keep his wife's name out of his mouth.
I'm going to, okay? Okay.
All this happened when Rock appeared on stage to present the Oscar for documentary feature. He made a joke about Will's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, being in G.I. Jane because of her shaved bald head. Now, if you jog your memory, last December, Jada Pinkett Smith had opened about her struggles with alopecia, revealing that she had decided to shave her head instead of constantly dealing with hair loss. So it goes without saying, when Rock passed a comment about her, it didn't go down well with Smith.
I love you.
During the commercial break, Smith was seen being comforted by Denzel Washington and Tyler Perry. Washington apparently told Smith, "At your highest moment, be careful. That's when the devil comes for you." Despite the assault on Chris Rock, Smith attended the full ceremony, but apologized when he won the Best Actor trophy. Emotions were clearly running high at this ceremony.
I want to apologize to the Academy. I want to apologize to all my fellow nominees. It's not about winning an award for me. It's about being able to shine light on all of the people, Tim and Trevor.
Entertainment
and
Bureau, India Today.
And Sanaya and Demi and Ingenue and the entire cast and crew of King Richard and Venus and Serena, the entire Williams family.
All right, going over to Tushar Joshi, giving us an understanding of what really transpired at that Oscars event. Tushar, while we saw a very pompous celebration of films and those artists who won the awards, it seems like the highlight here is absolutely Will Smith's tight slap to comedian Chris Rock. For sure embarrassing for Chris, but it appears that Will Smith was serious when he walked over straight to punch Chris Rock for speaking about his wife's condition and in an absolute joke, giving no respect to alopecia, what she's been suffering from, and she's been speaking of it since 2018 about how difficult it's been for her. But yet this was more or less a joke, which Will Smith clearly could not tolerate.
Yes, and Nabila, what is interesting is the fact that internet is a wonderful place. Whatever happens on the internet stays on the internet perpetually. A lot of people have jogged down memory lane and gone to the 2016 Oscars when Chris Rock again had taken a dig at Jada Pinkett Smith and at Will Smith. In fact, that clip of Chris Rock making fun of the fact that Will Smith wasn't nominated in 2016, and the fact that he also made a dig at Jada Pinkett Smith for not coming to the Oscars and boycotting the Oscars, shows that there is some sort of a history between Will Smith and Chris Rock. Now, these are two very popular names in Hollywood and world over, established actors, established stand-up comedians. So when this incident happened, the first reaction was, is this scripted? The internet obviously then realized, and social media quickly responded when they realized that there was a slur. Will Smith used the F slur, and that was beeped in a lot of countries. That's when we realized that things had really gone down bad. And now we get to see video clips, old social media posts of Chris Rock poking fun and making fun of Will and Jada, not just at this year's Oscar, but at previous instances in the past.
You know, Tushar, from what you say, clearly Will Smith hasn't taken this well, and if this was a build-up, then it appears that this was impending. It appears that Will Smith was needing an opportunity for him to walk over and give that punch to Chris Rock to stop right there, and he did. There was no apology that we heard. In fact, I must ask you, did Chris Rock even apologize post that punch? But stay with us. Before I come to you, I'm going to take our viewers through that entire sequence of what really happened. The 94th Oscars award really highlighted this. This was more or less the highlight of that entire award ceremony, where Will Smith really walked up to Chris Rock, blew a punch at him for poking fun at his wife. Here's what happened.
You know who's got the hardest job tonight? Javier Bardem and his wife are both nominated. Now, if she loses, he can't win. He is praying that Will Smith wins. Like, please, Lord. Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane jump.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
I'm going to, okay? Okay. That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay.
Tushar, we saw what happened. Give us an understanding. Did Chris Rock really apologize post that?
Nabila, Chris Rock hasn't apologized post this or come out and give a statement. In fact, he hasn't even pressed charges against Will Smith. There was some talk going on post this incident that he might press charges of assault. And there was also a conversation going on in Hollywood that the Academy Awards might take the award back from Will Smith, given the fact that this is considered an assault, an act of violence at an event that's publicized and telecast all over the world. But that hasn't happened. In fact, the Academy Awards did come out and give a statement saying that they condone this violence. But that's about it. There is no update on the fact that Will Smith might have to give this trophy back. In fact, he was spotted at the Vanity Fair Awards minutes and hours after the ceremony got over, dancing with his trophy to some of his popular songs. And you could see Denzel Washington and a lot of other African-American actors, people from the community, hugging him, talking to him, exchanging notes with him, showing solidarity and support to him, a clear indication that Hollywood probably is trying to put this under the carpet and make the most of this night.
You know, Tushar, thank you very much. Both sides, it appears, have remained silent post this episode. Chris Rock poking fun at Will Smith's wife that warranted a punch on him. This really was the highlight that stole the show of the 94th Academy Awards. Thank you very much, Tushar, for joining us. Now, really, this episode will go down in history. 94th Academy Awards had its fair share of controversies, and while the altercation between actor Will Smith and comedian Chris Rock this year was just one of the many, we bring to you some of the other infamous moments that got Bollywood's biggest night back in the spotlight.
The Oscars might be the biggest night in the entertainment calendar. But it's never just about honoring the best movies Hollywood has to offer.
That Will Smith wins, like, please, Lord.
Over the course of its 94-year history, the Academy Awards has had its fair share of controversies. And while the altercation between actor Will Smith and comedian Chris Rock this year is just one of many, here's a look at some of the other infamous moments that got Hollywood's biggest night in spotlight. Yes, if you jog your memory, with all 20 acting nominees, Caucasian, the 2016 Academy Awards found itself at the center of controversy thanks to an alarming lack of diversity. The hashtag #OscarsSoWhite quickly lit up social media, prompting Spike Lee, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith to lead a boycott of the ceremony. Host Chris Rock's opening monologue addressed the furor head-on.
At the Academy Awards, otherwise known as the White People's Choice Awards, you realize if they nominated host, I wouldn't even get this job.
The 2017 Academy Awards telecast was coming to an end. The Best Picture had just been announced. The producers of La La Land were making their acceptance speeches.
Come on. La La Land.
And then suddenly, producer Jordan Horowitz was at the mic, waving a white card.
This is not a joke. This is not a joke. I'm afraid they read the wrong.
This moment turned out to be one of the most embarrassing, more than just awkward.
Moonlight, Best Picture.
A biggest mistake in the history of the Academy Awards, played out before an audience of millions watching on TV and a theatre full of stars as a chaotic scene unfolded on stage at the Dolby Theatre just after midnight on the East Coast.
Thank you very much.
Wow, this is
Moonlight, the Best Picture.
Another time Oscars made headlines was in 2018 when comedian Kevin Hart publicly stepped down as the host for the 2019 Academy Awards after a series of his old homophobic tweets resurfaced. Hart has since tried to address the issue through his statements, appearances, posts, and even a Netflix docu-series, and many of his moves have only fanned the flame further. This controversy continued to dominate the headlines to an extent that the Oscars were held without a host up until 2022, which saw 3 presenters on the stage. Amy Schumer, Regina Hall, and Wanda Skies for the first time in 35 years.
This year, the Academy hired 3 women to host because it's cheaper than hiring one man. It's fun, right? Yeah.
Entertainment Bureau, India Today.
Yeah, you're the best part.
Yeah, no. Yeah. One more week and you're in there.
Stay with it.
Yeah.
Now, as the awards night proceeded, good news came in for Will Smith, who won the Best Actor award soon after this altercation with comedian Jessica Chastain took home the Best Actress award. In fact, Troy Kotsur and Ariana DeBose took home Best Actor and Actress award in supporting roles, while filmmaker Jane Campion made history by winning the Best Director award. Apple film Coda won the Best Picture Oscar, and Dune, on the other hand, shined through the evening with maximum awards. And here are all those winners and the highlights of this year's Oscars.
The wait is over as all the big winners of the 94th Academy Awards have been announced. The star-studded ceremony, just like every time, was held at the Dolby Theatre in Hollywood. It was the first time since 2018 that the Oscars had a host, and also the first time in 35 years it had 3 presenters on the stage: Amy Schumer, Regina Hall, and Wanda Skies. Good news came in for Will Smith as he took home the Best Actor gong for King Richards.
Richard!
The actor, who apparently had an altercation with comedian Chris Rock on stage a couple of minutes before his big win, got emotional during his acceptance speech.
I want to be a vessel for love. I want to say thank you to Venus and Serena. I just spit. I hope they didn't see that on TV. Oh, man. Richard Williams was a fierce defender of his family. In this time in my life, in this moment, I am overwhelmed by what God is calling on me to do and be in this world. And what I loved, thank you, Dee. Denzel said to me a few minutes ago, he said, at your highest moment, be careful, that's when the devil comes for you. So what'd you think? I wrote me a 78-page...
The actor played the role of Venus and Serena Williams' father in the film for which he won the top honor.
Never heard of them. They're from Compton.
It's okay. They're just not used to seeing good-looking peoples like us.
She's nervous.
You walk out there with your head up. You are a champion, and the whole world knows. Venus and Serena gonna shake up this world.
Jessica Chastain, on the other hand, took home the Best Actress award for her performance in The Eyes of Tammy Faye.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh, you guys.
The actress essayed the role of the wife of controversial televangelist Jim Bakker in the biopic that outlined the Bakkers' troubled marriage and Tammy Faye's support for LGBT rights.
Jim will preach and I'll sing.
God does not want us to be poor. Wonderful, a pleasure.
Now God has a voice in this fight.
I won't go forward looking in the rearview mirror of my life. This is who I am.
All are artists, and I know...
Troy Kotsur won Best Actor in Supporting Role for his performance in Coda.
Working with my family.
An Apple film about the child of deaf parents, which not only bagged the Best Picture Oscar, but also the Best Adapted Screenplay Award.
For Berklee College of Music, I can help you get a scholarship.
Ariana DeBose, meanwhile, won the Best Actress in a Supporting Role Oscar for West Side Story. She is the first queer woman of color and Afro-Latina to receive the award.
Oh my God. Yikes. Okay. Oh my word. You know what? What is this? You know what? Now you see why that Anita says, I want to be in America, because even in this weary world that we live in, dreams do come true.
Among those who took home the top honor was also filmmaker Jane Campion. She won the Best Director award for The Power of the Dog.
Well, Brother Phil?
That's not all. She created history by becoming the third woman in Oscar's 94-year-old history to take home the prize in a field still dominated by men in Hollywood.
It's just a man, Peter. Only another man.
Sort of a lonesome place out here, Pete, unless you get in the swing of things.
Zack Snyder's zombie action movie Army of the Dead won the fan favorite award at Oscars 2022.
What is this? It's a goddamn zombie tiger. That's crossing the line.
While Billie Eilish won Oscar in the Best Original Song category for her song In No Time to Die.
There's just no time to die.
When you were young and your heart, I admire your life, Mr.
A brief moment was also spared to celebrate 60 years of James Bond as the makers gave a special tribute to the franchise with a video.
But if this ever-changing world in which we live in...
Bond, I need you back.
I never left.
Good news came in for Kenneth Branagh as well, as he won the Best Original Screenplay Award. What made his win even more special is the fact that he was nominated 8 times before. He finally bagged the award this year. Joseph Patel, on the other hand, won in the South Asian category for his documentary feature, Soul of Summer. What's more, the evening was not just about awards and celebrating the best from the world of cinema, but it was also meant for bringing together some of the best performances by popular artists such as Beyonce. Entertainment Bureau, India Today.
Thank you so much.
Those were the stunning highlights from the 94th Oscar Awards, but certainly the takeaway was the big punch. Will Smith punching comedian Chris Rock on that stage in full public view after he poked fun at his wife. This certainly will be the takeaway and the highlight, apart from, of course, the other top quality films and performances that we got to see in this award that was credited and awarded.
Will Smith just smacked
India Today brings to you more on this, but for now, thank you for watching.
Crypto Watch brought to you by BitBNS.
This is Ukraine's true danger zone. Up close and fearless in Ukraine's combat zone. When it's the world's biggest news story, there's only one gold standard of journalism.
You are watching in
Good afternoon and welcome. I'm Pooja Shali and I'll be getting you a special telecast with regard to Ukraine. 33 days on, the war refusing to end. Let's begin first with the headlines. Putin continues to rain fury on Ukraine. Day 33 of invasion. Face-to-face negotiations are now between both the countries in Turkey today. India Today is the only channel, remember, reporting from Kyiv.
Several smaller villages now are directly in the line of fire where RT shelling, rocket firing, including in some instances missile strikes are being reported.
Meanwhile, it is total mayhem in West Bengal Assembly. The Bharatiya Janata Party claiming its MLAs assaulted by the TMC netas for demanding a discussion on Birbhum massacre. 5 BJP lawmakers, including Suvendu, have now been suspended. It's a shocker from Uttar Pradesh's Kushinagar. Mob allegedly lynches a Muslim BJP worker for celebrating Yogi Adityanath's victory. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath orders a probe. Pramod Sawant takes oath as the Goa Chief Minister for the second time. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, along with top dignitaries, attended the swearing-in. Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan blames the foreign powers now for destabilizing his government. Opposition to hold a counter rally on inflation. National Assembly session today with the trust vote looming around. But high drama at the 94th Academy Awards. Will Smith throws a punch at Chris Rock for a joke on his wife. Wins, though, eventually the Best Actor award for King Richard.
Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the out of me.
We have big news coming in from Ukraine. According to Ukraine's armed forces, Russian troops are now attempting to advance on the Kyiv city from northwest and east, which means capturing nearby roads and villages. The Russian forces are currently being held back by Ukraine's forces. So this is big, remember. It is eventually the city of Kyiv, which is right now still where Ukraine says it is holding fort. But according to our sources, according to the Ukraine's armed forces, the Russian troops are attempting to advance on Kyiv from two sides, northwest and east. And that happens capturing nearby roads and villages. Russian forces, for now, at some degree, have been held back by Ukraine. So that's the big news coming in. Remember, 33 days on, and now Volodymyr Zelensky, who is Ukraine's president, says ready for negotiations. The negotiations are likely to take place in Turkey today. And Vladimir Putin also from day one very defiant despite heavy sanctions placed against him by the Western powers, whether it's the Europe or the United States of America. He is not budging. Remember, just about 2 days ago, United States of America's President Joe Biden was in Poland, in Warsaw, where there was a multilateral meeting taking place with regard to NATO, G7, European Union, and yet the war is still on. Rajesh Pawar is in Kyiv. Rajesh, you are where it is likely that final assault, as we have been calling it, is set to take place. But what does it mean when we say northwest and east? So, of course, this means two directions that Russia will want to completely encircle the city, not giving an option to Ukraine.
Look, the situation seems to be like there were heavy blasts today, about 7 to 8 blasts in the north of the city, in the suburbs, away about 8 to 9 kilometers away from the center. Looks like that the Russian army, even if they're not inching forward, even if they're not moving forward, they are maintaining, they are trying to beef up their defenses around the city. They want to encircle the city, at least in the northeast and northwest directions, so that they have two axes coming from Brovary, which is in northeast, and coming from Irpin, which is northwest, secure. These blasts or these attacks could also be on the Ukrainian defenses, because they want to continue to deplete the potential, the fighting potential of the Ukrainian army, which is based inside Kyiv. So this could be the reason that we heard these blasts and from the north of the city in the morning today. Heavy blasts, 7 to 8 of them.
So there are some explosions taking place, as Rajesh Pawar is telling us from Kyiv. Rajesh, I request you to please stay on with me. We are also joined by India Today's senior executive editor Gaurav Sawant, who's been now traversing countries to get us this reportage from the ground. Gaurav, what does it look like for Kyiv? Because these are if two sides that we are talking about. Does it mean Ukraine may not be able to stand ground? What are you picking up from the conflict zone?
It will be a bloody battle, and it already threatens to be a very bloody battle for every inch of territory here. There are some videos that are going viral that show the kind of damage that has been caused so far. As we walk across, and we will walk across and show you what's happening on ground here. It is extremely tense. People are very nervous. They are on edge. And anytime you bring out a camera, it does lead to a lot of friction and tension anywhere. People threaten to break your cameras, even if they're not the security forces, because they think every bit of information that goes out helps the adversary. And why are we saying that? Because blasts are increasingly hitting closer home in the sense in the inside capital Kiev, around capital Kiev, on the outskirts. Multiple blasts were heard through the day today. Even the place where we are reporting, this is the heart of Kiev. And, from anywhere people turn up and say, switch off your cameras, go away from here, do not film here, despite having all clearances and papers. So it just shows how nervous the atmosphere is. Ever since we got here yesterday, there have been a series of blasts that were heard. Early this morning, there were multiple blasts while we were reporting on the outskirts of Kiev. Now, some of these areas, we are told that the Russians made multiple advances, and this is information that's coming from the government here. On two flanks, there were advances from the Russian side, and both were beaten back, which means the Ukrainian armed forces are fighting back and fighting hard, resulting in casualties. Incidentally, those images are going viral in social media, the capturing and killing of soldiers. Those images are viral. We're not putting them out because they're not verified just as yet.
Correct.
But it just shows that the lull that was expected, that lull really has led to intensification of operations on ground.
So, Gaurav, because you've seen Kyiv for a month now, can we say that what Kyiv was comparatively calmer a few weeks ago, that tense atmosphere has taken over this central city as well?
Oh, absolutely. The India Today TV got here on the 17th of February, and there's been a sea change from 17th of February till date. Initially we saw a lot of partying that was happening on the streets. That partying has given way to a very, very tense atmosphere all around. You only see the elderly. You see a lot of security forces virtually everywhere. Every signboard that you see here says NATO enforce a no-fly zone. Every signboard seeks a no-fly zone in this area. So the situation is very tense compared to what it was. Also, given the fact 32 days of conflict, this is day 33. Yes. 32 days of conflict, 32 days of bloodshed, loss of life, losing near and dear ones. It does lead to a lot of tension on ground in lives. Of course, if I were to show you, for example, this store, this is a medical